Hello.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
I need to tell you that I am supposed to have a reservation in 1 minute. So if that person shows up, I will have to leave you. But she's a little bit irregular, so she might not.
No problem.
Okay. My name's Tammy. How should I
Yeah,
pronounce it?
Tammy. My name is José Antonio. I
Joseph.
am from Brazil.
Ah, good.
I
Thank
live
you.
in São Paulo City.
Okay. How can I help you with English today?
General topics,
All
just
right.
conversation
And what would you like to talk about?
about Texas if you like to.
Okay. Well, I have only lived here for about 11 months now, so I'm still adjusting. It's okay. Has its pluses and its minuses.
And because Texas is a vast territory,
Yes, sir.
there are several kinds of weather
Hmm.
or
Yes. Foliage
weather
and
at the
yes,
same time. You in the south of Texas is warmer than in the north,
yes,
isn't it?
yes. You're right. Several climates. Yes, and
But you don't have snow at the winter time there.
not usually. I live where I don't know if you heard in the news though, this year in February we had the snow and it knocked out a lot of the electrical. So people were and then pipes froze and water mains broke. So this year we had snow. I live very near Dallas. And so
But is rarely
very rare.
in
Yes.
the okay.
Mhm.
Here in São Paulo, I never saw
No.
snow. We have snow in the south of Brazil only.
Mm.
In the in some in the colder time of the winter
Yes. Uh-huh.
in May, in June until July.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. And
But
I
in
guess
Santa,
pardon?
okay, go
Um,
on.
yes. And that is so it is strange. It's very arid in parts of Texas where I live. It's very dry and it feels like a desert. There's little humidity typically.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's caused me a little surprise because you said that last year it snowed out
Mhm.
there in Texas.
In
I
the
never
north.
heard anything about it.
Oh, you didn't on the news. It was a big deal here in the States because Texas, historically, events have made the people here feel as though they are independent and they could be independent of the rest of the United States. So, and oil is a abundant natural resource here. So they have a power grid that does not mesh with power grids or electrical grids from other states. So when our power became so, the demand became so great, it crashed. The system crashed, and we were not able to get electricity from other um, states, which compounded the problem.
So
It was a mess.
electric power comes from what you said? I didn't understand
The
this part.
electrical power it comes is from Texas. The um, generators and the machines that produce, not machines, but the towers that produce. are in Texas. And
Yeah,
see,
but in terms of electric industry, you mean like
yes,
that?
yes.
That is that kind of industry
Mhm.
is moved by oil or gas
Fossil fuels.
or other kind of fuel. I don't know what kind of fuel you
So,
use in the thermoelectric companies.
yes, for the most part in Texas, because they are so oil rich, they love the fossil fuels. And
Okay.
mhm. So,
And I heard, I don't know if I am right, but I heard that in Texas or in other states as well, you have the kind of fracturing mode of extracting oil from the earth, from the how can I say that
I
the
don't
earth.
know. I am not sure about how it's removed. I don't have a broad base of knowledge on that, but I do know, for example, wind energy and water energy are becoming more popular in other states, and the people and the businesses of Texas are saying no, thank you. We would like to keep our oil because the money stays here. The families are wealthy from oil who've owned that and have those large businesses, corporations, if you will. So they are, and say, I'm from Minnesota. And so I'm used to cold and snow. And
Yeah,
so,
Minnesota is far north in the country, isn't it?
yes, borders Canada.
Yeah, so that is much colder there
Much,
than from
much. Yes.
than in Texas, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it?
And that is why I left the North. I moved to North Carolina for 7 years. And now I've moved to Texas. And I don't
You
know. It's
you
okay.
you don't like the cold weather, don't
I
you?
I intensely dislike the cold weather.
Me too, me also, because I don't, and now in São Paulo is very very cold today here in São Paulo.
Ah, what is the temperature?
uh, Below 15 Celsius degree for
Ah,
us is too
yes,
cold, But
yes,
today
yes.
is 11
It
degrees,
feels
I think, in
that is
Celsius,
cold.
not Fahrenheit.
Right, I understand. I know. Everywhere is Celsius except the States. Yes. So 32 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 0 degrees Celsius. So yes, that is cold. And
Yeah, for us, this is the worst time in the year.
so what is your opinion on climate change?
I don't have I don't have a, a a certainty about my
Mhm.
opinion because I doubt too. I doubt so many for the the media from the
Yeah.
news that I
Mhm.
watched from today.
Mhm.
You know.
Yes. So, but my point is, I don't, because I do not, I listen to international news or non-political neutral news because I would like to have the unbiased truth. So what I just see is the weather extremes are getting more extreme. For example, where my sons live, it's normally quite temperate. It's not very intense, but they are having weather in the hundreds, and normally it's in the 80s. In the United States, we are seeing extreme fluctuations and unusual weather patterns. And I think it's so storms are more intense and more frequent. The cold is more intense. And so I worry that, I mean, I think the evidence is in front of us. We do, in my opinion, I don't need the news to tell me anything because I can see it and feel it, that it's a problem. But that's my opinion.
Okay. In Brazil, I don't see uh, important changes like you see in the Texas, for example, because our seasons here is very established in a certain pattern, and we don't usually move far from the usual.
Right.
For example, in the winter time here, our temperature varies between 10 degrees to 19 degrees Celsius, not below,
Right.
not too far above that.
Yeah.
So, and in the summertime, in Rio de Janeiro, for example, that is near here from São Paulo, there is much hotter than here in São Paulo is. And we are only 4,000 kilometers away from São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro.
Wow.
Is near from here, but there isn't the beach, and there and is a little more at the north of the state of the country, you know, but only 400 kilometers, not too far from here.
No, that's not that far.
And there in the summertime, they have 40 degrees on summertime.
Right. Yeah.
But here in São Paulo, at the most, we get at 33, 34 degrees at the same time, you know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm glad you have a more of a smaller range of changes. Yes. That's
and the rainy season in São Paulo is not is kind of regular, except in 2004 that there was a dry year here in Brazil, and our reservoirs are, I don't know if I can say that. Water
reserves. Yeah.
Yes, too much below from the acceptable level to furnish water for all of us. So at that time we had to reduce our consumption of water. But besides that, we don't have too much problem. You in Texas, do you have any problem with the tornadoes or any other
natural disasters? Yes.
Natural disasters.
Tornadoes is the biggest thing, but very, not compared to Minnesota. When we were in Minnesota, we had a lot more tornadoes, and a lot more flooding. Yes.
I think that in the colder regions, the probability of tornadoes was too much lower than in the other places.
Yep. And so I lived in the southwest corner of the state, the southwest corner of Minnesota, was in the edge of Tammy was in the edge of something we call Tornado Alley that went through Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, and just into the very part Oklahoma and the top part of Texas. So, but the southwest corner, yes, and it's because in the winter the temperatures were so cold, but in the summer they would change radically from cool to hot, and that change would make the air unstable.
Okay. And the period of changing the temperature is changing is
tornado season. So
tornado
it was more in August when the weather was getting cool again, when cold air was starting to move in.
August and September.
Yeah, it was a lot more in August though.
Yeah,
you might Google tornado alley.
You don't have that problem in Texas, don't you?
In the very north, no, it's very dry here.
Okay.
Very dry.
But you have that problem in Florida, for example. And Florida is not so far from Texas, is it?
Oh, yes, it is. Florida is. I lived in North Carolina, which is 7 hours from Florida. So if I drove in my car 7 hours, it'd be 420 miles. That would be about 210 kilometers from North Carolina to Florida. And from Florida to Texas, it would be about another 11 hours, which would be, let me do math, 600
kilometers.
330 kilometers. Mm-hmm. About 330 kilometers, Florida to Texas.
3,050 kilometers.
No, 330.
So it's not so far from.
Florida is much further south. They have hurricanes. Florida suffers hurricanes. So, which are essentially tornadoes out over the water. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
Our, yes, hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
Not tornadoes, yes.
Right. Yeah. So
it's different.
Well, the biggest difference is tornadoes are on land, and my typing leaves a lot to be desired tonight. Hurricanes begin over the ocean.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's the same storm, really.
Yeah. Our time is running out, so we have only 30 minutes. And your another guest didn't come.
I know.
Didn't show up, yeah.
But I'm glad to have you then. I'm very glad to have spoken with you. Thank you. Your English as well is good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have some problems on my fluency already. My fluency, I have to improve that.
Yeah, but you're working hard.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe, stay well.
You too.